PREDICT stands for the Pre-Depression Investigation of Cloud Systems in the Tropics. The primary goal is to investigate the formation stages of tropical cyclones, in particular tropical cyclones in the Atlantic. And the importance of understanding the earliest stages is illustrated here with the satellite montage of Hurricane Ike from 2008. Ike made landfall as a very damaging hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, but it also made landfall in Cuba a few days earlier. And this sequence of satellite images with the numbers one day apart shows you the different appearances of Ike in different stages of its evolution. In particular, off to the far right of the image is the earliest time in which Ike was just forming from a cluster of tropical clouds. Relatively rapidly, Ike organized into a hurricane and actually became a major hurricane within about 3 days from its initial formation. Hurricanes often do form rapidly once they get going. The reason for studying these early stages is, first of all, we don't really understand them. They're often not observed very well because they occur so far from land. There's also now increased emphasis on longer-term hurricane forecasts out to 7 days. And often storms will go from non-existent to major hurricanes to landfall in a 7-day period. So it's essential that we understand the origins of these storms better in order to be able to predict their ultimate effects on land areas and their societal impacts. But we can back up even farther, because the pre-depression disturbances that give rise to hurricanes often have their origin over Africa. And this is a satellite image that's annotated with the locations of individual disturbances that we're going to call African easterly waves. They arise over the continent of Africa, often in the Ethiopian highlands. You note the equator is down here at 0 degrees latitude. The prime belt of activity is roughly 10 to 12 degrees latitude in the region called the Sahel of Africa, which is the transition from the wet, rainy region to the south to the dry Saharan desert to the north. The wavy line is the location of the African easterly jet, which is a westward flowing current about 4 kilometers above the surface that's particularly strong in the late summer over Africa. What happens next is what PREDICT is really interested in. One of the key elements of PREDICT is the notion that the important flow features that may govern whether a disturbance moving off Africa can develop. In the frame moving with the disturbance, you see that these streamlines are very closed among themselves in a circle, which indicates that potentially the air within these disturbances is actually trapped, whereas if you look at the ground relative frame, the air continually moves through the wave. Now, why is this important? It matters because if you can isolate air from what may be relatively dry and otherwise unfavorable conditions that exist elsewhere in the tropics, and continually moisten the air in here in this central region, the thunderstorms that develop can take on a different character than those outside this region. And one of the hypotheses of PREDICT is that the difference in the thunderstorm character is important for allowing smaller scale circulation to intensify and accumulate. The blue line here indicates this wave trough axis, as I indicated for easterly waves. The purple line is the location of the jet stream, and where all these things are co-located, the wave trough axis, the location of this is actually the critical layer, which indicates where the wave is moving with the flow exactly, the strong rotation, and the closed air parcels is a situation where we think development is most favored. And it has not been looked at from this perspective before, from the point of view of large-scale observational campaign. In a cartoon, more of a schematic, we can see the various elements that are at play in the early stages of a tropical cyclone formation. You often have a layer, very dry and sometimes dusty air mass that has its origins in the Sahara, sitting between 1 and 5 kilometers above the surface, often laying to the north of the disturbance. key element here is, as in the previous example, we have a wave trough axis, this place where the wind is moving with the wave speed. So in a frame moving with the wave, the flow is stationary, and this general moist region, which is inside this closed circulation, again moving with the wave, is what we call the pouch. The pouch is really an analogy with marsupials, which keep their young in a protected environment before they can actually emerge and survive on their own. The analogy here means the developing embryo of a tropical cyclone may be contained in this moist, favorable region for time sufficient enough for it to develop to the point where it can exist on its own. Now, PREDICT is going to be based in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands between August 15th and September 30th. The primary platform of investigation is the NCAR NSF G5 aircraft, capable of flying up to nearly 50,000 feet. We will be flying roughly 43,000 feet. Our missions will be roughly 9 hours in duration. On this slide are listed numerous observational assets that we have, over 500 dropsondes available, several other instruments designed to measure temperature profiles, detailed pressure fields, and ice physics, ice particles in the upper parts of the anvils of these thunderstorms. All of these will be available between the period of August 15th and September 30th. This little diagram here suggests that we will have 2 flight crews available, one for the first 30 days, another for the second 30 days. And in the middle, they overlap for a period of 2 weeks, during which time 2 flights a day of this aircraft will be possible. And we think that's pretty important because often some important processes happen in between flights if aircraft can only fly once a day. But we're not doing this all by ourselves either. We're collaborating with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, and National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, to have a combined observational campaign with emphasis from each agency on various aspects of tropical cyclones, but all agencies are interested in the formation stages. And I've indicated on this slide the ranges of operation of different aircraft and the types of aircraft involved. So in blue, the NCAR G5 will be based here in St. Croix and has this rough operation region, which represents a slightly less than a 3-hour ferry time to get to a target. The NASA DC-8 will be based over here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it is a jet aircraft that will fly slightly lower than the NCAR G5, has a slightly smaller range but not much less. The NASA Global Hawk, which is a newly deployed unmanned aircraft capable of flying at 60,000 feet, will be flying out of Dryden Air Force Base. The advantage of the Global Hawk is that it can fly for 30 hours at a time. There will be other aircraft from the NOAA fleet of aircraft. The P-3 Orion Hurricane Hunters will be based in a variety of places. The sort of oddly shaped region that's largely pink or orange on this diagram kind of indicates the place where the NOAA aircraft can go. They like to base in Tampa, but they will forward deploy to places like Barbados and St. Croix. So the combined suite of aircraft can cover a region that's a sizable fraction of the Atlantic Ocean basin. And there's a particular region here, sort of in between Florida and the Virgin Islands, where it's possible that all 3 agencies can overlap their assets on the same system. And that's one of the goals of this project, to be able to bring so many aircraft together to study one particular storm.